Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 25 Montreal Expos expansion series. We are at the roster expansion September 1st, 2028. We're just going to take a look at how we stand right now. We're going to take a look at some stats, and we're going to prepare for a playoff push because we are 85 and 50. We are killing it. We're first in our division, and we are dead set on a playoff appearance and hopefully a bye through the wild card round. So, as we said, 85 and 50, 17 and a half games up on the division. We're going to win the division. We are looking good there. We're going to come on over. We're going to take a look at the pitching staff here. As you can see, Chase Dollander pitching great, 3.3 WAR, 167 Ks, 13 and 5, killing it for us. Mackenzie Gore, our number 2, is actually performing better than our number 1. He's got 200 Ks, 13 and 7. Mackenzie Gore is killing it for us. We have him for a couple more years. Really happy with his performance this year after last year was a little bit of a down year, and I was a little disappointed. I'm really, really happy with how he's doing thus far for us. Emmett Sheehan has stepped into that number 3 role. He's pitching very well. He's going out there as a starter for us, and he is doing really admirably the last 2 games when he was a starter. Drew Thorpe pitching well as well. Thorpe is 14 and 8. We brought him in on a cheap deal. We got some arbitration on him. 3 WAR right now. He's on the pace for just over 200 Ks. Really happy with how he's been performing. Jack Leiter is in. Jack Leiter's been actually pitching very well. The WAR is not really there, but the Ks are. He's getting a lot of strikeouts despite not a ton of innings pitched. We're going to try to increase that. He's got the stamina. I think he should be able to go deep into games and should be able to eat a lot of innings, get some good results for us. Puck at closer has kind of been up and down. 25 saves. He was hurt part of the year to come into it. He's getting Ks, but he's walking a lot. Unfortunately, I don't know how much longer he will be our closer. I was hoping that he would be a long-term closer for us. But, 4 seasons out of him, that's pretty good, despite the save numbers never really showing up. Ferguson is our stopper. Ferguson has been excelling in the stopper role for us since he came to Montreal. He's a beast. That's the easiest way to put it. This year is a little bit of a down year, but even then, it's actually his best year with us K-wise. So, can't be too bummed, aside from that first half season when he just lit it up. But I can't be too bummed there. Ferguson doing his job, although I think this might be his last year with us. He's up for extension this year. We haven't signed him yet. He's 32, and he's probably going to want a fair little bit of money, so that's a bridge we'll have to cross once we get there. Luis Gil's killing it as a setup man. Askew and Lodolo pitching very well in relief. And then actually Yoel Tejada and Mika Bell are in right now due to some injuries, so they are both up. Bell has actually been up for a good part of the season, or hasn't been up for a good part of the season, has been the first guy up for a good part of the season. So whenever someone gets hurt, he's been who we've been calling up. He just hasn't been needed in a ton of games or a ton of innings, but both of them are doing well so far. Very limited action. So over to batters now. We've got some dudes to really point out and highlight. So first off, Harry Ford. Harry Ford. Oh, Yelton is listed as a 2-way. Let's check that out. Yeah, he's got it if we need it. That's an emergency guy. Harry Ford's killing it. 5 WAR. The dude steals bases. The dude plays Gold Glove defense. Hits for decent power. Gets on base. Harry Ford's the total package. I really want to bring him back. Kyle Teal. Teal's having a down year compared to last year. But overall, still very good. Still a high-level defender, a leader, someone who we'd love to have in the clubhouse. Someone who I'm very happy to keep around and still trot out there every once in a while. Chris Bryant's washed. Unfortunately, that's as simple as it gets. Serviceable against lefties. Against righties, he's washed. Definitely a down year, especially in limited action for him this year. Not going to clear that 200 hit or 2,000 hits mark. Not going to clear the 300 home runs mark. Not even going to get 1,000 RBIs, unfortunately. Going to go down as one of baseball's biggest, could have been when he left Chicago after 2020. He was looking like he could be a Hall of Famer, and unfortunately, things just did not go Chris Bryant's way. Charlie Condon, absolute unit, 371 average, 26 homers thus far. He is killing it for us. He is a monster. Ratings-wise, I would actually almost expect better because look at those hitting stats. Those are insane. But I mean, he's out there. He's doing great each season, so can't fault him there. Kyle Lewis, he is the team mascot at this point. He will continue to be the team mascot until he decides to retire. Seager, another guy who is unfortunately washed. That's going to be an albatross contract for the next 3 years for us. We're going to keep trying him out because he's still not a terrible hitter against righties. Against lefties, he is. He's out of the lineup against lefties. But against righties, that's still decent. It's just unfortunate. Another guy, big fan of, another big could have been, especially because, I mean, I've seen saves where he follows up that 2023 season with 3, 4, 5 more seasons of 5 WAR. So it's unfortunate that he just fell off a cliff for us in this one. But hey, it netted us Evan Carter, so I can't be too bummed there. And it got rid of Juan Soto, even though we're actually paying him Soto's contract. So, that one I can't be too excited about. Blaze Alexander, good season, not as good as last year, better than 2 years ago. Simple one there. Very happy. Actually on pace for over 100 RBIs as he's had to slot up to the 3-4 slot for a good part of the season. Elly De La Cruz is here. Elly De La Cruz is balling despite injury, already 7 WAR, on pace for 8 WAR, on pace for 40 home runs, killing the game, actually hitting way better than he did last year, and way better than he did in his MVP season. He just unfortunately had the injury. Missed a little over a month. Jeremy Rodriguez, the call-up, a trade from Milwaukee, Gold Glove infielder, stud. Really happy to have him. He's going to be a mainstay in our infield the next couple seasons, and makes me feel really good about the potential Blaze Alexander trade that we discussed a few episodes back. I think that he could really slot into that second base role, and we won't miss a beat. Evan Carter, good season, 2020 club already. Could get the 30-30 club, but it would require a very hot September. Good WAR, good OPS, stealing bases, getting hits. Evan Carter is continuing to be a mainstay in our offense, in our outfield. And, only 25 years old, just actually turned 26. So, I mean, he's got a chance. We could push for the Hall of Fame with Evan Carter, especially if he can pick the hits numbers up just a little bit. We can get him to, 23, 2,500. We can get him to like 300 homers. And the WAR between like 50 and 60, I think we'd have a shot with Evan Carter. That brings us to Christopher Morel, playing incredible for us. Very limited time, only 53 starts, only 200 ABs, 18 homers, 143 OPS plus, 2 WAR. Christopher Morel was a great snag for us, and we can technically bring him back through arbitration. Max Clark, rookie year is although the potential is looking good, the defense is looking good. He's struggled at the plate. He's a pretty good defender. He's just struggled at the plate. Hopefully he puts it together year 2, and we can have another young star to be excited about. Brent Doyle's having a solid year. We know the deal with Brent Doyle by now. Defensive, superstar, liability at the plate. That's it. We're going to keep him around. He's a good player to have in the clubhouse. And then Braden Montgomery, following up his Rookie of the Year campaign with a monster season, on pace for 50-plus home runs and almost 6 WAR. Did not see that coming out of a player with these stats. Love it. Thrilled to have him. Good defender. Really glad we didn't trade him, because we had considered trading him and bringing in a free agent as a replacement, so really glad we kept him around. If we look at the front office, our salaries are expected to go up a good little bit next year. And by that I mean almost $40 million. So we will be looking. Blaze Alexander's probably gone. Hunter Green's contract is going to be gone, so that frees up $20 million. We'll see. We'll see what we can do with that. If we come on over here, you got Reese Olson, is unfortunately out for the season. He got off to a good start, but he is done. Hunter Green's set to come back in just 11 days. He's going to be off the team next year. He just can't stay healthy. It's that simple. Good ratings. Could be a really good relief pitcher, but just can't stay healthy. Got some young guys, as you can see here. I'm not going to go through each of them. We got some young guys that are looking like they could push for an MLB spot next year. Ethan Holiday has me excited once again. Tavares has a chance there. Enrique Bradfield, who we acquired in a trade, could be someone of value. Kyle Johnson here. Talon Bell's actually developing a little bit. So, a couple of guys that could be of use for us. We'll come over here. We will check out. Let's see, negotiate the draft. He's already did this, right? Yeah, we're going to let these two dudes walk, unfortunately. Standings, we'll just take a look at standings. We'll actually go to the pennant chase. I think that paints a slightly clearer picture. So Baltimore and Boston both looking really good to make the playoffs. New York's 5 games back of Boston, slightly lower percentage. In the NL, we got a 3-horse race right here, all separated by less than a game, or by a game at most. So that's pretty interesting. Come to the north, it's Montreal. The other north, it's Milwaukee. Cincinnati has an outside chance at a wild card appearance. Come to the West divisions. Seattle and Colorado. Seattle's going to make the playoffs. Colorado's fighting for a wild card, maybe an outside chance at a division win. In the NL, it's going to be LAD, and I bet you it's going to be LAD. In the South, we got a dead heat between Texas and KC in the AL. The NL, it's going to be St. Louis. Arizona's fighting for that wild card spot. We'll come down, check out the wild card races. Boston's going to have one. Colorado and New York are fighting for spot number 2. Over here, Pittsburgh, New York, Arizona, Cincinnati, Miami, they're all under a blanket. So it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on that, see how that all goes. Let's take a look at league leaders here. We got Riley Green. I told you guys about Riley Green's monster season. He's who we were going to trade what's his name? Brady Montgomery for. Almost want to call him Blaze Alexander. Brady Montgomery for. We didn't. Turns out he's having a career year in Boston, monster year. But honestly, I'm glad we didn't, because we would have overpaid considering the season that Montgomery's having. Olson's looking good. Montgomery's almost, second place in the league for home runs, first in the AL, so that's really cool. Leads the league in RBIs. That's really cool. Condon, De La Cruz. Good for Matt Olson, by the way. 34-year-old Matt Olson out there just mashing still. Going to push for 500 career home runs, so that's pretty cool for him. Good for him. Ellie's first in slugging. Ellie, despite missing 40 games, is still second in WAR and going to push for an MVP spot, going to challenge Riley Green. If we come down here, runs, we got Gunnar Henderson. Hits, we got Riley Green. Doubles, Jacob Wilson, Adael Amador. Green for total bases. Dylan Head for stolen bases. Young 23-year-old. Recent draftee. Trade. What was he? One of the drafts? No, he was a first-round pick in the draft prior to the start. So, real-life first-round pick. Blaze actually leads the league in sac flies. We got Ellie down here. Condon for OPS as well. We got the 2 top guys in OPS plus. If we come on over to pitchers, we got Skeens. Good to see him succeeding. I've seen him bust out in a few. Tristan Beck, Luis Castillo, Drew Thorpe, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Mason Black pushing for 20 losses, Matt Brash, Drew Rasmussen. You guys get the picture here. Taj Bradley, 2 complete games. Kumar Rocker with 2 shutouts. I think he had actually both of them for us this year. Schultz is first in Ks. Gore is second. Mizorowski's throwing a whole lot of walks, but also striking a lot of guys out. And let's just take a look here. ERA plus, Skeens, Fujiwara, Rasmussen, Yamamoto, Gore comes in 5th. So that is all that we will cover in this episode. We're going to do a quick review there for the roster expansion. When I see you guys next time, we will be in the playoffs, and we'll be playing through the playoffs as we normally do until we lose. Thank you very much. See you guys next time.